What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated, 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO, World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terence Bud Crawford. 38 wins, no losses, no draw, 29 big wins by way of knockout, 34 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. Terence Crawford, he weighs in on the highly anticipated, undisputed mega showdown between himself and his biggest rival in undefeated, now newly crowned unified 3-belt welterweight world champion superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top 2 or if not the #1 fighter in the world, pound for pound, in Errol the True Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is 28 wins, no losses, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 32 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. With that said, Terence Crawford, Errol Spencer makes for the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. And now that the major hurdle was removed, okay, eliminated from the process, that being Terence Crawford no longer being signed with legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter Bob Arum, ESPN, and Top Rank, now the fight should be easy to be made. With that said, there's negotiations that's taking place between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. It's being reported that the fight could possibly take place in October on pay-per-view in Las Vegas, or possibly in November on pay-per-view in Las Vegas, right? But with that said, there's a lot of different reports. A lot of people are, they're very, very eager and anxious to get this fight underway, okay? Mainly the fans and the media. Obviously, Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, they want this fight very, very bad, right? So with that said, it's a legacy fight for both guys. There's a lot of reports that Terence Crawford is pricing himself out. Okay, there's a lot of reports that Terence Crawford is taking a 45-55 split in favor of Errol Spence. There's a lot of reports that's saying that Terence Crawford, he wants even more money than, asking for. There's reports that Terence Crawford wants $20 million plus a 50-50 split, plus revenue on the back end, the pay-per-view shares and live gate, okay? So with that said, I told you guys, I just told you guys the other day, I said, you got to be careful what you listen to and what you hear, because even behind the scenes with credible sources, there's many people behind the scenes that are credible sources that tell you, listen, Terence Crawford is looking to receive etc. But there's another credible source on the other side that would say Terence Crawford is looking to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, he's looking to gain X, Y, and Z. So there's a lot of conflicting reports as to what's being said and what's taking place behind the scenes. So Terence Crawford, he responds to all of the reports that he's pricing himself out the fight and that he's asking for $20 million and a 50-50 split. So he comes out and he responds to it. And he said, just let people believe. There's a lot of people that believe they know a lot that's going on behind the scenes. So he stated that, just let people believe what they want to believe. And he stated that, it is what it is, essentially. Okay, so, he said he's unbothered by it. Obviously this is a fight that he wants. And seeing as though Terence Crawford, by the time this fight comes to fruition, he'll be 35 years of age. So Terence Crawford, he should be looking to max out, right? Now, obviously, when you compare he and Errol Spence as far as star status and drawing power and just the amount of support both guys get when you do the comparison, right? Errol Spence's support from the fans is just bigger than Terence Crawford's, right? You look at the pay-per-view support. How many fans buy pay-per-views for Errol Spence compared to Terence Crawford? Well, it's not even close. Errol Spence have an overwhelming amount of support, more so than Terence Crawford gets, as far as the fans actually financially supporting the fighters, right? So when it comes to that, obviously, it has to be fair in favor of Errol Spence getting the bigger share of the pie, right? Because he's just simply the bigger draw, right? There's no debate, there's no debating that, there's no disputing that. There is no, I mean, the numbers don't lie, right? women lie, men lie, numbers don't, right? So the numbers tell you the truth. Errol Spence has done bigger pay-per-view numbers. He's done bigger live gates than Terence Crawford. He sells out bigger stadiums. He's just a bigger draw, right? And he deserves a bigger share of the pie. Now, as far as accomplishments, seeing as though Terence Crawford, he started his career in a lower weight class. Terence Crawford is a multi-division, 3-division champion. He's already undisputed, right? But the level of opposition, Errol Spence has fought the tougher level of opposition. He's fought, the bigger names, the tougher fights, okay, consistently, right? So with that said, he deserves a bigger share of the pie. But I'm not opposed to Terence Crawford wanting to get what he feels and deems is worthy for himself, right? Who am I to tell Terence Crawford? He has to still, at the end of the day, feed his family. Terence Crawford, he puts it all on the line at the end of the day every time he steps through those ropes, and he's going to be 35 years of age. Father Time's undefeated. And to me, it seems like Terence Crawford is already focusing on his exit plan, right? It seems like Terence Crawford is looking to have maybe 2 more fights. I think that Terence Crawford is successful against Errol Spence Jr. I believe that Terence Crawford would then look to fight, as he already expressed, that he has interest in facing off against newly crowned undisputed 2-time junior middleweight world champion superstar boxer Jamel Lyons Only Charlo at 154, right? So he's already expressed that that's the avenue he wants to go, and he knows the relationship Jamel Charlo and Errol Spence has. They share the same trainer, well-renowned trainer, soon-to-be 2-time trainer of the year, future Hall of Famer for sure, and Derrick James, okay? So they're stablemates, they're close friends, and so they're both with the PBC, obviously. So Terence Crawford has expressed that after he beats Errol Spence, he's going to be looking to face off and beat, Jamel Charlo, which he called Jamel Charlo Errol Spence's cheerleader, right? So he wants to be Errol Spence's cheerleader and Jamel Charlo. And he wants to become a 3-division undisputed world champion. And he said those are some huge shoes to fill if he does indeed accomplish becoming a 3-division undisputed world champion, which I agree. That is some very, very big shoes to fill if he succeeds and accomplishes that, right? So with that said, I believe that Terence Crawford beats Errol Spence. He beats Jamel Charlo. Terence Crawford has already expressed that he don't want to fight until his late 30s and early 40s. And he's already going to be 35. So if he accomplishes that in these next 2 fights and he gets the money that he's seeking out, I think Terence Crawford may just retire, and he'll retire undefeated. Let's say he beats Errol Spence and beats Jamel Charlo. Well, he's already 38 wins right now. He'll be 40-0, right? Depending upon if he stops them or not. He would be 40-0 with 29 knockouts and a 3-division undisputed world champion. He'll be a 4-division world champion, but 3-division undisputed world champion. And he beat the best 2 guys in their weight classes, which would be Errol Spence at welterweight and Jamel Charlo at junior middleweight. To do so, that is a major, major, major accomplishment if Terence Crawford indeed was able to fulfill that. So I believe that, Terence Crawford sees his exit plan, and he wants to ultimately make sure he secures his family's future and his future, and they be able to comfortably live his lifestyle, and be able to support who he needs to support. So yeah, he should seek out the biggest number he could possibly get. So Terence Crawford, he comes out and he debunks the notion that he's overpricing himself or outpricing himself. He's looking for more money, to make this fight happen with Errol Spence. We know Steven Espinosa, he came out and he stated, Steven Espinosa, president of Showtime Sports, he came out and he stated that, Terence Crawford and everybody else involved have to be realistic as far as the amount of the purse that they're looking to receive. He stated that this is not Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, so you can't be expecting to get overwhelming amounts of money. You got to be realistic. So I believe that this fight is going to happen. I know the initial date was September. That was moved to October. And now it looks like, the date could be possibly in November. But it's a huge fight. It's the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. I can't wait to see how it unfolds. It's definitely a 50-50 fight. I personally favor Errol Spence to be victorious, in the fight at the end of the day. But that's why they got to get in the ring and settle it and make it official. So Terence Crawford comes out, lets it be known he's not overpricing himself, not pricing himself out, and too many people just think they know what they're talking about, but they just don't. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Oh, it is your boy Jada Kiss. Make sure you check out Blue Blood Sports TV. It's going down.